It's definitely a heads-up play, but it's nothing big to me because it's just communication. Simple as that.
What's your guys' mentality going into the week where you might be playing the following week, but there are also a couple of things out of your hands?
We're just focused on the task that's at hand now. We're really not looking ahead to anything. We're just focused on TCU because if we're not, these guys can be really dangerous for sure.
Is it hard at all not to look at some of those things, though, even if you're preparing for TCU?
Right, it is. Like I said, that's human nature. But you have to be, with the next task at hand, and that's TCU right now.
Kind of going back to Billy's play, you guys have been really good on the goal line all year. What's gone into that?
The thing with being really good on the goal line is, we've been really big on stopping the run. And, the series before that, actually, we called a run stunt, and they shifted out. And it kind of sputtered us, and and they scored on it. And, Coach V kind of hesitated the next series, and he gave us a late call, and Billy made a really good play, and you have to know when you're really good up front that their first thought process isn't to run the ball. They've seen that on film, so they're going to attack the perimeter for sure.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, having watched the film, what do you think went into how much success BYU was able to have running the ball on Saturday, and how can you guys correct things there?
Just schematically, like Coach V said in his press conference today, we just have to be really gap sound. They had a lot of eye candy going on, and you have to be disciplined within the scheme to know, no matter what, who you have with you and who you don't. And, there was a couple plays where I myself over-pursued, and I should have just knew who I had with me. But it's small, minimal things. It wasn't a big deal at all. You just have to know who you're with and then the run fit. And then if you don't, it'll punish you. Something so little can equivalent to something so big if you don't know schematically the gaps.
You sort of talk about that, something so little, when you talk about communication a few minutes ago. How did that sort of evolve for you and realizing the importance of that and your role in that?
Right. Big, for the simple fact, if I don't communicate to Danny right there, they have enough to pick us up, and we don't have enough to guard them, per se. We're going to be really weak in that situation. The quarterback would have all day, this big on big protection, and ultimately bringing Danny over, and they didn't have enough. Just simple as that. And then when you don't communicate, and when you don't know who's with you, you see what that can equivalent to.
Last year, you were a younger guy, and you saw everybody go through the struggles because of that last year, and now sitting here at 9-2, how big would 10-2 be to finish the season?
Really big, really big. Every win is big. It doesn't matter what it is or how we get it. A win is a win at the end of the day. Don't matter how you got it. And the stat sheet is say dub. Simple as that. And last year was really tough on everybody, especially for me. I didn't play much at all. And just sitting back and watching those guys go through that, it was really painful. But Team 128 per se, they crawl so we can walk. And that's it's been really fun. No matter how we've got the dub, it's been good to get them.
Brent today talked about context mattering when talking about the pass rush for you guys, even though the sacks haven't necessarily been there the last few games.
Right.
How would you kind of assess how you guys have managed that, even with the way teams have kind of game planned against it?
No doubt. Teams have gone a quick touch game per se. Out on the perimeter just because of our pass rush. Those guys aren't necessarily getting the stat sheet that's going on as a sack, but they're definitely getting the pressure there. If you go back to West V. We called a blitz, and it literally would have been a sack, but the quarterback threw the ball to me, should have had an interception. But the pressure's there, and those guys are really playing their tails off up front. They really are, and yeah.
We see what Billy means to you guys on the field. What's he mean to the locker room to you guys defensively?
He's not a vocal guy, but he's a true leader. He's kind of one of those guys who doesn't say much, but when he does say something, you listen to it more because he isn't necessarily saying something at all times. And, he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's a really good dude. Love him to death.